Yo, Eric Dubois with edpbeats.net, and today, new episode of What's in Stock, and we're going to talk about Beat Repeat. Beat Repeat is one of the sickest stock plugins in Ableton. It's a little complicated to use at first, but it has some amazing presets that are going to help you learn it, and you can use this on anything. I use it a lot just to add some extra diversity in any of the tracks that I do. Maybe some switch ups, a little bit of ear candy here, just a little bit of rolls over there. You know, you can do a lot of stuff with Beat Repeat. So let's get started. What's in stock? Beat Repeat. Okay, so this is how the Beat Repeat looks inside of Ableton. So don't get stressed out. It looks a little complicated at first, but it's once you get the hang of it, it's actually pretty easy to use. So first off, the default settings. As you can see in the graph here, this graph is going to help you a little bit. It's going to help you visualize what the Beat Repeat is actually doing. So the interval is how long you want your loop, how long you want the cycle of the Beat Repeat to keep going. So now it's set at 1 bar, which means at the end of the first bar, it's going to start over again. And it's going to do that at every bar. Another section that we see is how many repetitions do you want? On this little graph, you can see that we're doing 7 repetitions. That's represented by these little yellow blocks. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Those little blocks and the number of repetitions are represented by the gate, 7/16. Now the reason why it's 7, it's because our grid is set to 1/16. Now, if you modify the grid and you want it to repeat every, let's say every quarter notes, so that's fine, quarter, this laptop, bro. All right, every quarter notes, that's where our grid is still 7/16, so you're gonna have to visualize it on the graph how many repetitions you want. So 7/16, if we do 8/16, it's actually 2 quarter notes. That makes sense. Don't get confused, look at the graph. If you don't know that much about quarter notes, 16th notes, 8 notes, it's all gonna come in very easy once you just look at the graph and you just count it out. So this is with the Beat Repeat off. I have I dragged in a loop from one of my exclusive sample packs. I only do exclusive sample packs now and beat packs. So if you're interested in that, go ahead and go into my website, edp-beats.net. Sign up either as an artist or a producer, and then I'll send you guys some exclusive stuff if you want. So a little plug right there, but you got to do what you got to do. Now back to the Beat Repeat. So this is the little loop that I got. This is just a drum loop from one of my sample packs. So this is how it sounds clean. Now let's turn on the Beat Repeat, and the settings, how we set it, it's going to repeat 2 times, 2 quarter notes. And it's going to start repeating again every bar because our interval is 1 bar, right? So let's listen. Now let's do it a little bit quicker. So let's set it to 16 notes. Let's put the grid up and have it repeat only at the beginning, that first quarter note. This mouse, sorry. And that's the gate, the grid, and your interval. That's how you're going to be able to control as much as you can the Beat Repeat. Now, the other sections that are also interesting, if you don't want it to repeat right at the beginning of the bar, you can offset it with this offset knob. So the offset knob, let's say we want it to repeat right there. And that's how you do it. Now the variation knob is going to allow you to vary the grid knob. So instead of 16th notes, it's going to move from any value that you've selected with the variation knob. And every time it's going to do something different. So let's set it to 5. So you see every time it moves, every time it changes the different grid selection. You can play with the grid if you go it really fast. You can hear that it starts to glitch out. So let's set it back, our offset back to 0. So that's really cool. The grid, have fun with that. You can play with that around. You can play around with that. You can do really cool stuff with this little grid knob and playing around with the variation. Now the other important knobs that I use is the pitch decay and the volume decay that's fun to play with. The repetitions are gonna go down in pitch or go down in volume as long as you have it. So let's set it back to 16th notes. Let's make the grid a little bit bigger, and let's play with the pitch decay. So I'll turn the pitch decay up. So you can hear that the repetitions are going down in pitch, and we can do the same with the volume decay. Let's turn it up. Goes down with volume. The pitch allows you to control directly the pitch of the repetitions. So if you want the repetitions to be down 2 semitones, just set that pitch down 2 semitones, -2, and every repetition is going to be already pitched down automatically. You can go extreme. So that's a pretty cool function to use. These 3 buttons here are gonna allow you to select how you want to play with the repeated audio signal. Do you want it to be mixed in with the original audio signal that's coming in? Do you want it to replace the original signal with this instead right here? Or do you want to play the repeated signal alone with the gate? So let me show you how it sounds with both. So the mix. So as you can see, the repeated signal is also playing with the regular signal. Instead, you only hear the repeated signal and not the original signal. Gate is only going to play the repeated signal. So you can have fun with that. You can add into an audio effects rack and then have several layers in there and control, and you can be really creative with that, and that's super cool. So I usually set it to the instead function. I just find it much more cool. Now above we have our filter section, which allows you to kind of filter out what you want and what you don't want on the repeated signal. So let's hear it. So you put that in the mix. Only the lows. Now another important feature here is our chance knob and the repeat button. So as you can see here, it does everything automatically. You don't really have much control with if you want it to repeat in only certain sections. You don't want it to loop every bar. You want it to be 1 bar here, maybe 4 bars over there, the middle of a bar here, you know. You have to do a lot of automation. So a way to go around that is turning the chance knob all the way down so that it's never gonna repeat unless you click on the repeat button. Okay, and now it's going to repeat all the time. We turn it off. So for example, if we play it, so now it only repeats when I hit that repeat button. This is really easy if you want to make some cool glitchy effects from time to time. You just hit that repeat button and you turn that chance knob to 0. So let's check it. Take the filter off. So you're gonna have some cool little glitchy stuff. You have to tweak the knobs a little bit, but you'll get that and you'll figure that out pretty easily. And that's pretty much it on the beat repeat. Now the note triplets is if you have the variation on, and sometimes it hits some weird grids like 1/12, it's kind of out of rhythm and stuff like that. This is gonna allow you to avoid those triplet notes and those weird out of time kind of notes. So you hit that note triplet if you're using the variation knob, and that's pretty much it of the beat repeat. So now let's check out some of the presets. So we have vocal fun, loop off beat. Oh, some really crazy stuff. Insect. So you can really fat fire beat. That looks cool. All right, deconstruct. I remember was one that I liked a lot. I don't remember why I liked it that much. Chopping block. So really cool. They have some amazing presets. Test them out, try them out. Use them on anything, vocals, instruments, guitars, drums, the general song, your master channel. It's a really cool tool to have, and it's super fun. Once again, I apologize for the computer going crazy. You can also hear probably the fans that are just dying right now. And yeah, if you have any questions, hit me up in the comments below. I'm not gonna say anymore hit a like, hit a subscribe, because I don't think it helps actually. So if you want to hit a like, hit a subscribe, dope. Otherwise, no worries. Peace out and much love from Hawaii.